All right, welcome back. So in this video, let's pose a question. How and when to buy a deep pullback? Now, what we're talking about is a market that's been running, and then the pullback here is deep, right? It's not these fast momentum, right? It's deep, it's relentless. I'm a swing trader, but I don't want to fight any market or predict any market. So the question then becomes how and when to buy that pullback. This is a great thing to understand, especially when the markets are in a recession or working their way and stocks are looking like this. But it doesn't matter. It can be a 3-minute euro. So let's begin to answer that question. Now, what I have up here on the board is from the next course that I'm building on market structure. And these are the principles. And what we're going to work with today to answer this question is continued behavior and change in behavior. So we're going to use this conceptual framework, okay, to work out how and when to buy a deep pullback. Let's first understand it. Continued behavior is behavior that's repeating or stays the same. It's organized. This can be any behavior, but we're going to use swings in this lesson. So we're going to use swings. We're going to isolate and identify at least two balanced swings in the pullback, and that will be our continued behavior. Change in behavior is when that stops. So whenever we see two or more balanced swings, and if you're not sure what that is, go back to the previous video, right, where it's the same size reaction leg. It's basically showing us that they are hitting it at about the same area, right? They're leaving their footprints for us to see. And so we need to isolate something that they are doing so we know when they stop doing it. And then we couch it like this. So change in behavior is when they give up a certain behavior for something else. It's a type of expansion. And this is how we're going to begin to answer this question and begin to come up with some techniques for buying these deep pullbacks. So this is a principle. It means it applies to anything. We can apply it to gaps. We can apply it to wide range bar tails. We can apply it to moving averages. But we're going to keep it very simple. It's going to be a very simple lesson. The only thing you need is an understanding of how to map swings and what a balanced swing is. And I do plenty of lessons on that. And the previous video has a lesson on that. So let's look into this. What we're talking about is a deep pullback, right? These are short, small pullbacks. And we're talking about a deep pullback, often in a recession, right? This is lasting longer than a year. But like I said, it can be a 3-minute euro. Notice that this 3-minute euro from the other day, last week, has got the same impulsive long run and then this relentless pullback. Now we don't want to just guess or use predictive methods for this. And so if we're going to follow something, we have to have something to follow. We're going to use swings and the concept of continued and change in behavior. When you fully get this, this changes the way you see markets. There are so many ways to use this. We can build techniques on continued behavior, depending on the context. We can learn to understand what the market is doing, be independent from all of the noise by following them. We're going to keep it real simple and do swings. So we basically need to know what a confirmed balanced swing is. We're going to be looking for two or more confirmed swings. A new low confirms a high. A new low confirms a high. So literally we're going to need two of these lows. Boom and then boom. And I'm going to require that they have reaction legs that are about the same size, like this, give or take. Again, this is going to show us that, hey, this is going to show us the footprint of where the funds are doing something, right? If they show us they're hitting it at a certain percentage over and over 2 or more times, that's golden. We know when that changes. It's no guarantee, but we know when that changes, and we don't have to guess. We can follow a market, ever so important. So now we take this concept, and I'll give an exercise at the end of this. And now what we're going to do is place it looking for 2 or more confirmed swings in this major reaction leg, right? We're going to isolate it looking for it here. So as this guy pulls back, we're going to try to isolate behavior. Maybe they don't show us, but that's fine, right? We're waiting for them to show us. We're going to isolate behavior in that leg, this behavior. So I'll show various examples, and then we'll find a few that we can track live. So just to recap, we're going to wait for volatility to organize itself in some kind of continued behavior, which will be 2 or more confirmed balanced swings. And we're going to look for that in the pullback. So let's do that here, and we'll make some observations in this Goldman Sachs. So as we learn to map, right? Now this goes back. This is these videos, they build on each other, okay? You have to be able to see a market and then map it. That'll be the reaction leg, that'll be the impulse leg. Now, that's what I'm looking for on the way down. Do we get 2 or more of these that confirm themselves? Or do we get 2 or more of these? It doesn't matter if it's small or if it's not small, okay? Or do we get 2 or more of these that confirm themselves? So you can see this is 2 balanced swings. If we were mapping like in the prior session, this would be my major and these would be my minors. So now we have 2 or more. So now you see the model fits real life. And then what we're going to do is just draw a line from these. And we're just going to always follow the last 2. It could give us 5, but we're just going to keep drawing a line and follow the last 2. And if this gets zoomed, right, we don't want it to just poke it and bleed. And we want a big bar or big run. We want it to be obvious. When this behavior quits doing this, it's an indication that our market is turning. Yeah, okay, you didn't get the bottom. Trading is never about the bottom. It's about the meat in between, okay? For those of you trying to get the bottom, you tried to get the bottom here, and then you tried to get it here, and then you tried to get it here, and then you tried to get it here. And by the time you get it, you're broke. Right? Go ask a Bitcoin trader. So, we're following. If you can do this, you can make your own observations. And so, right, I picked a few examples, then we'll grab some live. And we'll look at some intraday from last week even. Now, when I see this, right, now I'm working with facts. Something has changed. They are no longer hitting this market about that much, about that much, about that much. No guarantee, but as I follow a market, something has changed. And when you do this, I want you to just begin making observations as to how that unfolds. Right? Something has changed for sure. Now, if you've been following my lessons, you know that once something has changed, you begin following markets the other way. Okay? So I didn't go over, and I'm not going to go over specific entry, management, exit techniques for this. First step is to be able to see it, and then you can devise your own. Actually, if you begin to just take what's in the prior lesson, remember we looked at a swing, we looked at the shelves of a swing. So we don't know where this market goes, but that's following it through its turn. It doesn't always pull back. Sometimes it goes straight. It doesn't always hold. But this is following it through its turn. This is how you begin to answer this question of how and when to buy a deep pullback. Still lots of work to do from here to plan, entry, management, etc. And let's take the same thing in this euro. We have a deep pullback. The first thing you're going to look for here, let's do it as if you were watching it live. Okay, so you know you have a swing. If I get two or more of these swings, I have now identified some kind of continued behavior. And you know, if you're following markets, you're following. Of course, you always have the choice to go with it, right? Go with the continued behavior and not wait. Depends on context. One lesson at a time. That's a different lesson. Okay, now everything works. We have the two balanced swings we were looking for, and they have the same size reaction leg, right? And you just draw a line. If that line gets zoomed, then you know something has changed. You know, you follow it. Right? It's beaten the length. It's testing the line. That's not beating the line, by the way, guys. You know, this, see that? That's beating the line, right? That little poke isn't beating the line. All right, so you watch. Right now you've got some kind of change, and now you're on to your next task, right? So you know something has changed. There's no guarantee that we're going to run, and I'm not talking about setup in here, but if you can do this, you can make some observations and begin to learn yourself, right? You can make some observations on your own. So we'll look at a bunch of examples, and that's how to begin to see and understand how to buy a deep pullback. All right, so let's not try cram too much in one video. Let's keep it bite-sized. So how about that I do a part 2 of this, and we'll finish this off here. And in part 2, we'll go through some more examples and talk about how to make this more functional. So just to recap, we're talking about how to buy a deep pullback without getting run over and following markets. And so what we're doing is we are looking for two or more confirmed balanced swings, and then looking for that behavior to change. So let's come over here, and you guys can look at this chart. You can already see that we have a market with a nice run and a deep pullback. And what I'd like you to do is in the pullback, right, in this potential major reaction leg, you're going to want to isolate two confirmed balanced swings. And then I'll finish this in the next one. So isolate two confirmed balanced swings, basically, within the context of this pullback. So it means you're going to be working in here. Isolate two confirmed balanced swings and then draw a line across the top. The last two. Okay, the last two. And then note when that changes and make some observations. So you'll come in here, you'll zoom in on this leg. You will structure the swings, find two that are about the same size, draw a line, and make observations. And don't forget to look at the shelves from the last blog I did. And I'll finish this up. We'll do a part 2 later.